All right, Rhino. There is this impression that's out there because the Tommy Lloyd's a nice guy, that he's a pushover. And that could not be the furthest thing from the truth. Look at this, look at this past offseason, for example. And again, I'm not saying whatever happened, but I think you clearly looked and you're like, Jaden Bradley needs to be able to take a little bit more of a prominent role on this basketball team. Check. That's going to be in there. Oumar Ballo, who Tommy Lloyd loves and was an all-conference guy, but in this day and age where it's NIL and you've still got to be able to, put everything into perspective, Arizona let him go. Mo Krivas coming in as well. And again, not on bad terms or anything, but Tommy Lloyd can make some tough decisions here. It's not just this, pat on the back, off shucks type stuff, Rhino.
Well, you pointed it out, the two guys that he had to part ways with, either what was best for the student athlete or best for Arizona. And I think it was mutual in both cases, was Kylan Boswell and Oumar Ballo. And you look at both those guys. Oumar truly looks at Tommy as a pseudo father figure, as he should. And I think Tommy treats him and feels in kind that he's somewhat of an adopted son, more so than just regular player. And Kylan Boswell, one of the first recruits to sign up for Tommy Lloyd's Arizona program, one of the first people to say, I believe in what he's going to do. It was in the best interest for both of those guys, either NIL reasons, playing time, not the right fit, just not really what Arizona needed for the 2024-2025 season. Those were tough decisions. And Tommy, good guy Tommy, says, I love you guys. I'm going to ride it out with you. No matter where it takes us, you're my guys.
Right.
Be the head coach in Division I basketball. Sometimes you have to say, hey, I love you. It's in the best interest of both of us for you to go somewhere else. And in both cases, that way, I think that's true.
Yeah, I think that's very much the case. And that opens the door for Jaden Bradley, where I think Jaden Bradley, what I really liked about him, Rhino, two things. First of all, I think people are going to see that he can shoot a little bit better than people think. The form isn't broken. It's not we've seen some bad forms around here at the U of A over the years. It's not that. But you know what I really like too? In that Clemson game, when everybody was kind of, standing around, the one dude that was getting to the bucket, that was keeping Arizona in that game and basically was saying, you can follow me, but I'm going this way, it was Jaden Bradley. I think that, he opened a lot of eyes in the NCAA tournament. I'm very excited to see what he can do with a full season playing 30-plus minutes.
And given the confidence, right, that it's your team, you're starting, I'll add to what you're saying, because I couldn't agree more that his offensive game is coming around and I think will really blossom come this year because of the outside shot, confidence, his ability to get to the rim. I'm going to throw another thing at you that you've seen in the NBA. It's not just about a quick first step. It's not just about the ability to finish at the rim. Let's look at how Jaden Bradley can finish at the rim. He has some of the best breaks in college basketball, right? It's John Wooden has used a phrase years and years ago. It's not about just being quick. It's about having that change of speed, change of direction, the ability to go from slow to quick.
Right.
I'll add slow to quick to slow.
Yeah.
Kyrie Irving, how does he finish at the rim? He blitzes past you, and then he can put the brakes on and let you fly by and finish almost uncontested. Granted, he finishes incredibly well contested shots, but Jaden has that. Watch his game in this past year. He can get past you with a quick first step, but then he puts the brakes on as well as anybody we've seen in the recent past.
I think he's going to be an amazing fit in the Big 12 as well. Because the one thing about it is that Arizona, when you go into the Big 12, and Tommy Lloyd obviously has had a lot of success, but I don't know that there's been a really next level point guard. Solid play, but not next level. Jaden Bradley to me looks like he could be an all conference guy. And let's talk about the defensive end. I mean, you were up close and personal, obviously, with the GOAT against Clemson. They were calling fouls on him that weren't fouls, but it was just like, man, this guy is getting his hands on every single loose ball. He's blocking shots. He's getting steals. He was almost the victim of his own success at times there, Rhino.
Yeah, Arizona will not compromise defensively at the point guard spot with Jaden Bradley. And you look back and there's been, almost polar opposites at the point guard spot. Not that Kylan was bad, but he was not stout defensively by any means. But you look at what TJ McConnell gave Arizona defensively, incredible. Obviously, Jason Terry, incredible defender for the Wildcats. But Mike Bibby, I love the dude, but he was not Arizona's best perimeter defender.
Can you please expand on that a little bit? Because I tell people this all the time, and they're always like, well, he led the team in steals. Rhino, please go ahead.
He led the team in steals because Michael Dickerson was guarding the best perimeter player, and he was causing havoc, and errant passes were created. So bad passes led to steals for Mike Bibby. It wasn't on the ball pilfering. It was weak side help, grab a lob pass going over the top. I'm going to go steal it. Mike Bibby, he led the team in steals, but Michael Dickerson was the best on-ball defender,
and I see
Jaden Bradley.
And JT was the best JT was the best defensive point guard as well. So go ahead.
True point guard for us. So where Jaden Bradley can take us defensively is special. You know, he's not just going to be a good defender at the point of attack. He's going to be an outstanding elite level defender for the Wildcats, and they will need it in the Big 12 when you look at how good the perimeter play that Arizona is going to face. You're not like, well, Jaden's got to get 18 points to really impact the game. He can do it on both ends of the floor.
Right. And what I always look at with guys that I look at their shooting form. Now, Jaden shot 44% from the field. Granted, it was in very few attempts. I get all that, but I don't think he's going to surprise some people this year. Like, there were some guys here, and this is, it's no disrespect because he played in the NBA. But a guy like Mustafa Shakur, with that form, you were just never going to be a consistent three-point shooter. I look at Bradley, and that thing's not broken, Rhino. I think that he just needs a little bit of confidence. I think he's going to surprise some people. I really do.
I agree. I think his jump shot's a little slower than it needs to be, sure. So he might need to pick up some of the speed on that. But in the Tommy Lloyd offense, with a Caleb Love attracting a ton of attention, with a Trey Townsend attracting some attention now offensively at the 4 spot, I think that could give Jaden Bradley more open looks, and he won't necessarily have to worry about creating his own jump shot this coming year. But that's something I think he needs to work on. The step back, creating space, knocking down contested shots. But I think he's going to find himself more open with jumpers because of the players around him offensively. And he's got to be that consistent, knock down the open shot guy and develop into I can create my own jump shot moving forward.
You mentioned Trey Townsend. I've got a bold take here for you. I think Trey Townsend's going to average 4+ assists per game this year. Calling my shot right now, Rhino.
Not crazy. A, he's got the skill set to do so. B, in the Tommy Lloyd offense, there's going to be opportunity to be more of a facilitator. And so while, Keyshawn Johnson I was incredibly good and so important for Arizona, I think he surprised many with his offensive skills. I think that's why he's rising up draft boards, because people are finally seeing that he can be a good offensive player. But I think Trey Townsend is a more dynamic offensive player, clearly a better shooter. I think he's going to open some eyes offensively. We'll maybe take a step back with Trey on what Keyshawn did for Arizona defensively. I don't think he's going to be that multi-dimensional guard multiple players guy. But Trey, 4 assists from your power forward would really add to that arsenal.